All right, all right, all right. Welcome back, my regular viewers, listeners, and watchers. And of course, if you happen to be here for the very first time, welcome. Before I go any further, my name is Rahul George, India's premier iHypnosis coach and your personal guide. And of course, a very, very warm welcome to all of you who are tuning in live for our podcast, aptly titled The iHypnosis Coaching Journeys. So if you've been a regular watcher, you've been, around and with me for some time, we are now, I think, officially on to our 21st episode. And I have a truly amazing guest, somebody who I had the pleasure of meeting now close to 2 years ago. We actually traveled together, from we had attended a retreat together for 2 days, and we happened to be staying at the same hotel. So we traveled together in the cab to the airport in Chennai, and I had one of the most fascinating conversations. And back then, I knew I had met somebody truly, truly amazing, somebody with a lot of heart. And of course, having said all of that, Dr. Sharma, this is your cue, so you can definitely go ahead and turn on your camera. And it was such a lot of fun, getting to know Dr. Sharma's story. And like a lot of people, a lot of coaches out there today, especially post COVID, wanting to build the message to be able to reach out to the right people who understand what we're talking about. As fellow coaches, we were talking about our funnels, and of course, that's when I got to know a lot more about what Dr. Sharma does. And so I will, of course, get to that in a moment. So stick around. Having said all of that, of course, let me get started by officially welcoming you, Dr. Sharma. Welcome. It's such a pleasure. It's an honor to have you
Thank
here.
you, Rahul. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So, of course, like I said, we will be having a lot of, conversations, not only today, but I'm sure in the days ahead. And to me, I always am fascinated, especially when someone, carries a title. You are a doctor and you've been doing this now for a very long period of time. So maybe we'll start here. What is it that you do today? And then we'll go deeper into a lot about cognitive fitness and so much more. So over to you.
Yes. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you. And all the viewers. Today is going to be an amazing session. And you're going to get a lot of things, or there is going to be a mind opening things for you. All right. So I am Dr. Kshama Kulhalli. I'm currently working as a cognitive fitness coach who help women above the age of 40 uh, who undergo through forgetfulness, brain fog, mental fatigue, tiredness, not feeling like doing anything, anxiety, depression, trauma, grief. So many things keep on happening, and mainly the memory gets, you know, kaha rakha hai, where is the wallet, where is the purse, where is the this thing. Of course, this happens to every normal person if you're not
Mm,
paying attention, but this goes more and more in women. And this is what I personally, found out that this is happening to me,
mm,
the one who is academically very strong, memory wise very powerful.
mm.
There's no photographic memory like, but I used to recall things very
Right.
fast. And when it started for me, then I started researching on it, because basically
Mm,
neuroscience, artificial intelligence, machine learning are my forte. I've
mm,
been teaching that
nice.
for almost 38, 40 years. So I thought, I started researching, and I started helping people, and I
Mm,
got results of my own, because my inspiration was my desperation in knowing
right.
what I ran pillars to post and everywhere, and
Mm,
yeah, what is happening to me? Tell me what is
correct.
happening.
Right.
And this is how I started this. And when
Mm,
I got benefited, I said, why not share with people? Be an amazing session. This is how the journey started.
beautiful. Beautiful. So maybe if we could start here, just sort of give us like an overview. You said, like, you've been doing this for now closer to 40 years, which even especially in the Indian context, that means a lot. right? You've obviously seen a lot of changes over like literally like 4 decades. um I'm sure it'll help people to understand like what made you choose this field, and maybe a couple of highlights that stand out for you over the last 4 decades.
Yeah. Actually, this is a long story, but to cut it short, I'm born in a Brahmin middle class family.
Right.
Education was the only thing that we were taught to do it.
Mm,
In 80s, nobody was used to become an engineer or topmost.
correct.
But since our parents, especially my mother,
Mm,
she pushed me to become engineer because Sudhamurthy was from the same college.
wow. Okay.
So she was 10 years, of course, 10, 12 years senior to us, but she was an
Mm,
iconic figure.
mm,
So that made us, she was electrical. I became electronics and telecommunication engineer.
right.
Then, as you know, after immediately graduation, I got married. I
Mm,
came to Kolhapur, and then I had no other industrial these things. I had to join an academic engineering college as a
mm,
teacher. But lifelong learning,
mm,
continuously with two children, everything education I continued. I
mm,
did my masters, then I did my PhD in deep learning. That time the artificial intelligence was just coming. I said,
mm,
what is this machine learning? How do these
wow.
robots work? How do they train? What are the programming skills? These
Mm,
all I got fascinated by them, and I
mm,
started teaching them neural networks. Starts with
wow.
neuron, artificial neural network. 2000 I started. 2020 I
Wow.
started teaching. So
Wow.
almost 22 years.
Right.
I was teaching that subject, so we had a lot of algorithms develop everything.
Mm,
You know. And students used to come out with project young and 19 to 22-year-old
right.
students. I was always among them. So I never thought I am aging.
Right. Yeah.
I thought I am going to be the same age
Right.
because I was also adapting like how they adapt
Mm,
themselves to me.
mm,
It was, so this is how it started. So
right.
this was, it started with neuron, how you artificially train the neuron
Mm,
and teach that machine to do a particular task.
mm,
I said, when this can be done on machines,
mm,
why can't human be trained? There's something called as
mm,
trained brain and untrained brain. There's
mm,
trained memory, there's untrained memory.
mm,
Nobody in the school taught us like how to focus and concentrate, how to memorize, how to
mm,
remember. It was a rote repetition or
right.
कर लो नहीं आता है तो bug up कर लो.
True.
This was there. Then I thought, if this is there, this is what, it works. Like,
Mm,
a driver with a learning license is trying to drive a car.
right.
Haphazardly, he'll put some gear, khachak, kuchuk, kuchuk, because, and then the car may not go, will have a lot of, smooth sailing will not be there.
mm,
So I said, learn it continually and then
mm,
apply it, and then with awareness, use it and then get the result.
mm,
And this is how the machines are trained. If the machine, one instant, one programming code, if you're giving to the machine, Rahul, it doesn't work.
mm,
It says,
true.
kuch bhi kar leta hai. No, you pick up from the here, then you do this, then repeatedly training, 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 training. You remember in schools and all tables, kitni baar bolte the hum log.
Yeah. Rote
Even
repetition. Two
writing,
twos are four.
yeah, and even writing A, we did whole
Yeah.
page up
Yeah.
and down and line. So this concept, I took it and then I
Mm,
started applying it. Of course, a lot of research was done on it. A lot of papers were seen.
mm,
I went to a lot of neurologists, neuropsychiatrists,
mm.
neuroscientists, and who have specially worked on women brain.
Wow.
Okay, like Lisa Mosconi, Dr. Daniel Amen, and Dr. Jim Quick, who is a lot of
Mm,
memory stuff.
yeah. Yeah.
International athletes, how they remember 30 words. I
Correct.
say.
Right.
So these are the things which I started thinking about it just to apply myself. I just
Wow.
wanted to help me.
Right. Amazing. Amazing. I find this really fascinating. Like what was it they said? I forget. I think it was a Jim Rohn quote, right? Your mess is your message,
Mm,
right? I
yeah.
think it was Jim Rohn. I could have got the
Yes, yes,
name
yes.
of the person wrong, but it's to me, having been in this space now for like 2 decades, I find it really fascinating when people discover like a new, like, it's almost like second wind, or it's like you get this this new energy to tap into what's out there. And not only are you helping yourself, but you're helping other people, right? So we'll do two things. One is definitely, tell us more about how you came about, some of the programs that you're currently running for people.
Mm.
But before we get to that, uh, in your journey, in what you've been doing now, you've been now in the coaching space for how many years would you say?
1 year, 1 year
1 year,
digital
right?
space, one
So
year.
this is digital experience, and so it's like, in the context of the coaching, it's been a year. In the context of research, it's been, literally decades.
17 years, though I have done it on cognitive, this thing only,
Exactly.
but teaching
Exactly.
about it almost 22 years, 30
Right.
years,
Right.
and total experience of about 40 years in
Exactly.
education.
Exactly. It's beautiful. So, uh, since we're talking education, right, one of my favorite subjects, uh, are there, like, maybe, two or three stories that pop out to you that were like absolutely life changing for you? Like, you had an experience and it just kind of made you choose to go a certain way, or it shaped your thinking, especially in the context of education.
Yeah. When, since I was with students only
Mm,
mostly, some of the students, they were just pushed in an engineering college to
correct.
learn something.
Yeah.
They were actually
Yeah.
aptitude was somewhere else.
Correct.
Because as a child,
Mm,
when the child is born, it starts programming its brain from
mm,
the circumstances, from the environment, from parents, from teachers, from mentors, or from
mm,
friends, and they're
mm,
very creative,
mm,
very creative. Over a period of time, when they are exposed to the environment and entire world, their
mm.
creativity starts. "Aise mat karo. What is this you have written on the wall? You should write it like this. Don't do it like this." These are the things when it starts.
Mm,
They start. "Oh my God! Now I'm going to get probably bitten by somebody. I will not get a reward of
right.
it." Their creativity starts going down.
Mm,
Slowly they become influenced by the peer group or
mm,
parents or daddu, dadi, all these people,
correct.
mentors, TV channels,
Mm,
friends, or the
yeah.
books they read,
Yeah.
all these things, and their
Mm,
creativity goes down, their originality or the aptitude for creative that goes off.
right.
And then they will just be streamlined like a herd culture,
Mm,
sheep, this,
yeah.
just they
Yeah.
start following all everybody is following.
Mm,
So this concept I
mm,
understood in many students. When I'll
mm,
say, for example, Aniket, why are you doing? Ma'am, I'm not interested. I'm going to do this, and my father has pushed me.
mm,
I'm going to, ये मैं डिग्री उसके ऊपर फेंकूंगा and I'm going to go and
right.
do Indian Idol में मैं गाना गाऊंगा. He became an Indian Idol.
Wow.
अभी देखो ही all these cricketers and all these, some of them are,
Mm,
Shankar Mahadevan and all, they are all engineers, but they are
right.
singers.
Right.
क्योंकि उनका पैशन ही अलग है, हैबिट है.
Correct.
So that was the major thing. I started using this cognitive fitness to understand the
Mm,
aptitude of the students right when
mm,
they were in 10th, 11th, 12th, and then started
mm,
tapping that. That was the
mm,
one major breakthrough. Second,
mm,
when you are engineer or when you are MTech or something, you are not getting a job, so you enter a college and start teaching.
mm,
You are not an actually teacher. A teacher
yeah.
is not supposed to give note, dictate notes, ask them to write down
Right.
notes. They should be just inspirational. They should only take
Mm,
them to the lab. ये करके देखो, you tell me. It should be different type. So
mm,
actually, how you need to inspire students to do it,
mm.
that I taught to the younger generation of the people, ladies or men
Wow.
and women who joined a teaching, because they're
Mm,
not interested. They were not
mm,
getting job or something. ये तो छुट्टी है, ये है.
mm,
They picked up. So you are not meant to be a teacher, and since you are not meant to be or you don't have a skill,
mm,
rather you don't have a patience.
mm,
So, and you are not gone through a proper training part of it.
right.
So that was one thing. Second,
Mm,
after I thought I will continue this teaching only. Why go online space and explore something?
mm,
Since I'm doing 40 years, let me continue
correct.
teaching.
Correct.
We got one, one particular. a mentor
Mm.
who showed me the mirror that you are much more capable of doing much more
Mm.
things of your passion,
Mm.
your this thing. Why are you getting stuck here? Are you happy
Mm.
here? Because I said I'm done. I have done enough. Now I don't want to. And post COVID, Rahul,
Ah,
students everything they wanted, easy खाना पूरा खिला के ऐसे
right.
बरो फिर भी वो वॉक करेंगे इतना they wanted,
Right.
easy 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 ऐसे चाहिए था.
Correct.
So post COVID we also lost interest and we started
Mm.
learning a lot of Zoom, ये वो
Mm.
technique and all. I
Correct.
said online करेंगे and let me help give value to the people
Mm.
who really need it, not to because there are many people who can
Yeah.
teach things.
So true.
So these are three breakthroughs
Beautiful.
or three stages of
Mm.
one in students, one in young women or men, and another
Right.
one is this
The post-COVID
post
realizations.
COVID.
So it's
Yeah,
it's beautiful how it's segueing here because I was just thinking, um, there are people today who are in getting into the coaching space who are in their 20s, right? There are some in their 30s, some in their 40s, some in their 50s, some in their 60s, some in their 70s also, who are saying कि मेरे को I want to go online, right? I want to be able to reach out to people. I have a message, I have something that I know is of value and that will help other people, right? So there are people who look at life like this. If you were to sort of, in a way, I guess, summarize for yourself like the last year, 2 years, like we met in October of 22. Yeah, so we're almost like 2 years in now. Yeah.
yeah,
If you were to sort of reflect and say, like, what are some of the things that you've learned that have helped you, which is why today you are here and you're doing what you're doing, where you're working with people, you're working, from what I understand, what I remember, you're working primarily with women of a certain age group, right? And as I was sharing in the intro, that was what was our conversation on our way, in the cab from the hotel to the airport, right?
yeah,
So um, so can you share maybe like a recap of like what are some of the things that have really worked, maybe two or three things that have really worked for you in in the last like year and a half, 2 years of your journey?
yeah. So like Rahul, I told you 40 years I was only teaching
Mm,
different subject, latest
mm,
subject which
mm,
are introduced by that. But we were following a curriculum.
mm.
And the curriculum you just design curriculum and deliver and do not bother. Just take exam, pass, fail. This is what is the routine which I was doing it for so many years without
Mm,
understanding. I said, students, if they're not interested, what will you
right.
do? How can you push them? Those who are interested.
Correct.
In a class of 80, when I am teaching
Yeah.
people, there are 20 people who are getting out of marks.
Correct.
And there are 20 not responding only,
Exactly.
they fail. And
Correct.
remaining all either other, I
Correct.
mean, they get sometimes
Huh,
this side,
huh,
this side.
huh.
So that is called as a diffusion curve.
Correct.
Sinek also has
Mm,
said that the diffusion curve or
right.
16%, if you cross, then always other
Mm,
people will also follow this.
right.
So I knew only that much. And
Mm,
I was not bothered. Isko samjha ki nahi. If
mm,
unless and until they came and asked me, ma'am, kaise karna
mm.
hai?" I would devote entire.
Correct.
I would go behind them.
Correct.
That was the way I was teaching it. But
Mm,
in the digital space,
mm.
it's not, how will I call people? There,
Mm.
I don't have to worry. My classroom used to be full.
Yeah.
80
True.
students, 80,
Eight. Yeah.
78 will be there. Here, my classroom, how is it going to be full? That was one question. Then
Right.
some said that you have to put a Facebook ad and what you are teaching.
Mm.
Then you have to put a Facebook ad. I said, I'll
Mm.
Facebook ad, I'll shoot. I say, Roy shooted a
Wow.
Facebook ad and
Nice.
hey, it's going on.
Mm.
I don't know because what was my intention of controlling class, speaking,
Mm.
knowledge, study, research, all these things I knew. Now it has
Mm.
to be personalized. It
Right.
has to be emotional. There
Mm.
should be X factor. There should be delivery. There should be result oriented.
Right.
It should be personalized. It should be love, compassion,
Mm.
affection, all these things
Wow.
I used to be very strict.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
get out. Why you're 9-5,
Mm.
you're not entering. I can't do this. Oh, so darling, it is so sweet of you. You're coming 10 minutes late. It's okay. You're going for a wedding. Oh, fine. No problem. I'll give you. These are all the
Right.
things I had to do it when I came
Wow.
online. I had to become little different.
Mm.
And now I'm loving it.
Wow.
Rahul. Now I
Wow.
really love because my brain got trained to the next thing. I had to
Mm.
give training to it continuously.
Right.
And what we did in 2023 is I was just validating this worked for me. Will it work for others or no? I don't know. Because
Mm.
everybody's
Correct.
formula is different. Everybody
Correct.
can't respond to the same.
Correct.
But mind it, see Rahul, people, across those who are very, five gynecologists, MD, MS are with my students.
Wow.
And homeopathy,
Mm.
histopathologists, MDS, school professors,
Mm.
teachers, they are all, those who get resonated with me and they think that,
Yeah.
yeah, this
Yeah.
is what is important for us.
Mm.
I was looking something like this. They only come to me.
Wow.
Maybe they are limited, maybe they understand or better,
Mm.
or people who are housewives and
Mm.
these things, they are also there. They also
Right.
think, I forgot where it is, whether I paid the bill or not. Why do I
Mm.
forgot? I did not take medicine yesterday. Oh, that bill was for April or May, I don't know. This
Mm.
OTP, I don't understand this. I
Mm.
mean, there are a lot of things, those people
Mm.
also
Mm.
have joined. But yes, of course, it was a total 360 transformation, and I was getting validation and credibility for what I
Nice.
am doing. And
Perfect.
during that period, I was when I was thinking about all these things, and we started with the conversation. Then you told me everything about, how you should be thinking, what should be the outcome, why you're targeting, why after joining your course, what they will get. Then
Correct.
I worked on that.
Mm.
Still, I was quite only. 2023 June,
Mm.
April, that FPR was there.
Ah.
That time, Dr. Manjunath had
Ah.
won something 10 crores or something.
Correct.
He came and told me, Dr. Kshama, you're spending just time like this. You're more than ready. You're just not
Mm.
starting. You just start.
Wow. Amazing.
That was the only sentence which I brought from FPR. As soon as I came, I said, "Chalo, add karenge, ye karenge."
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the journey.
Wow. Wow.
I talk too much, you
No,
know.
I'm actually being silent for a moment because I'm getting goosebumps, and listening to you like this reminds me of why this idea of doing these podcasts came to me.
Love you.
Love you too. Because it's like this work that we do, it's not just for us. We're doing it because we know something that we didn't before. And we've now also learned how to make it available, how to share it with others.
Yeah, true. But you are doing an amazing job, Rahul.
Thank you. And yeah, like I also told you that, like how you had Clubhouse, this is just you and me talking, but this is designed in such a way that, like you said, it's you, like he didn't know that one sentence that he said is going to make a difference to you, right? When Dr. Manjunath came in, he would have
Mm,
just, in a matter of speaking, said something to you, right? Like these golden moments happen when we don't plan it. It's like, I'm sure you have so many times there are people that will, your students will come to you, your youngest students will come to you, people in their 50s and
mm,
60s will come to you and say, Dr. Shama, I don't know, something about that last session, it just changed the way I look at my medicine, or the
yes.
way I look at my, exercise, or whatever it is. So this is very, very powerful, so um yeah, I'm just being present to the moment, and I'm so glad that, we connected like this.
Yeah.
You agreed to come on this pod, and I know that, this is the first of many. We will be doing more, where we will talk more, some parts also tactical. I think that is useful, which is why, like I said, you just thought of, you were talking about like the three phases, and then you're also talking about your journey over the last 5 years. give or take about the last 2 years, and how you have been able to shift. And this is what I actually really love about your story. It's one thing to be a teacher, it's another thing to be a practitioner, right? You are literally what you're learning in the way of, your uh, like working on your cognition is what you're teaching other people. So you're like literally like walking the talk, right?
Yes.
Maybe just, and I'm sure it'll help people who are looking for this, maybe people who like you are focusing on the, let's say, the cognitive aspect. What are some of the things that you have found that have benefited you? Maybe you just happen to discover it in the moment, or maybe in your research you found that, okay, this helps brain cognition, right? Because brain fog,
Yeah.
a lot of people have the experience, but especially if you talk about women in a certain age group, it's more pronounced than for others, right? So
Yeah.
could you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, how I started. It's a very good question. So
Mm,
when I uh, turned about 40, 42, 45,
mm,
till then I don't know. I was like an octopus with eight tentacles doing all the jobs.
mm,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
everything I was doing it. Here I will look after the children, there I will look after the college, there I will look after this, there I'll at the time multitasking, I was doing everything till the
Right,
age of 42,
right.
43. Then I started getting agitated, mood swing,
Mm,
irritating,
mm,
getting angry, annoyed,
mm,
sleepless nights, all these things. I never knew why it is happening because I thought everybody is irritating. People started calling me as a sadist professor. Oh, ma'am के पास मत जाओ.
wow,
ये यार, she's very angry.
wow,
Don't go to her. She'll shout. She'll take you out.
wow.
घर में आए तो ये don't tell mummy, don't tell mummy.
Mm,
Children. My husband will also, what happened to her? I don't know. She's getting angry
mm,
nowadays. I said, what is going on? But I
mm,
didn't care a lot.
mm,
It's nothing. I was like, ये पूरा कॉलेज में मैंने 30 years के तक किया है.
mm,
I'm the
mm,
boss. मैं
mm.
engine हूँ. मेरे पीछे सब है.
Correct.
Attitude was very this thing.
Mm,
Then, but all this is okay. But I started forgetting things.
right.
Ma'am, 2 o'clock meeting.
Mm,
Then I would say, okay, I
mm.
would not write intelligence. I will store
Right.
it
Huh.
here. That
Right.
was the, वो था. But I will invariably forget. इतना
Mm,
तक हो गया. I lost my passport. My husband would come and give me something, important. अच्छी तरह से रखो. This is income tax returns. I want it. You keep it proper. I'll keep it so properly. I will not get it only. I don't know where
right.
I kept it.
Right.
So when these things started happening,
Mm,
forgetting dates, forgetting, one day at least I was sitting and putting the car key. Why it is not starting? Why it is not? It was somebody else's scooter, two-wheeler, XS.
wow. Wow.
And then I put one dhaga. I don't know what all jugad I did, all that.
Mm,
But
mm,
I was internally, I was saying I'm forgetting. I saw a movie,
mm.
Still Alice, Still and ALIC. At the age of 50, Oxford US professor of
Wow.
linguistics, she goes through this entire,
Wow.
Alzheimer's.
Wow.
That movie made an impact. इतना जोर से impact किया
Wow.
वो. I said, is it genetic? मेरे घर में तो my father
Mm,
was 89. My mother last time. I
mm.
started, connecting all these dots.
Right.
I said, am I going through dementia? Why am I
Huh.
forgetting?
Wow.
I have still another 13 years of teaching.
Huh. Huh.
And also, I don't think I'll retire at 60. I will still continue because
Mm,
I'm a teacher. Teacher has to be a
mm,
lifelong
mm,
teacher. I'll keep on teaching.
mm,
I'll do something. How will I manage? What will I do?
mm,
What does
mm,
happen? Then I saw some of the brain scans and I said,
mm.
I'm artificial. I start from neurons.
Correct.
I don't know before neurons. Oh, it's in the brain.
Mm,
Brain. Then who is the brain? Then I
mm,
started, searching, researching. Nobody could give
mm,
me exactly what I wanted. ये मुझे चाहिए.
mm.
मुझे दाल चाहिए, मुझे रोटी चाहिए, मुझे चपाती.
Huh.
This was not there. Somebody would give samosa, somebody would give dal, somebody would give. So I said, मैं
Right.
पूरा थाली कैसे मेरा ये करूँ? So I had to go learn all these things, do my
Mm,
own research. Buy almost 35 books I bought and I
uh,
studied, researched, and I started using it on me only. Because what I knew
mm.
is
Yeah.
If your brain works right, you work right. If
Yeah.
your brain
It's
is in
beautiful.
trouble, you are in trouble.
Mm.
If your relationship, whether it is finance, whether it is business, whether it is interaction with friends, the way you
Mm.
talk, the way you feel, the way you act, the way you believe, the way you behave, everything, the brain is important because that's the hardware.
Yeah.
Mind is a software.
True.
If your software is strong and if your hardware is not supporting that, then no.
Mm.
If you want to be successful, your brain, your decisions have to be correct. If you want financial decision, relationship decision, all correct, then you will
Mm.
be successful. Who runs the
Mm.
stock market? Good brain or a bad brain? Who runs the entrepreneur's business? Good brain or a
Right.
bad brain? IIM, IITs, Facebook, who's there? Good brain.
Mm.
So if your brain is in trouble, why
Mm.
does it go in trouble? Of course, it will not work that same, and you are
Mm.
not challenging.
Mm.
Blood flow may be effective. Genetically, you may not be correct.
Right.
Neurohormones may disturb you. Your
Mm.
mindset, what you're feeding the mind may not be good. Your immunity may be there. There may be some inflation will be there, or
Mm.
head trauma could be there.
Mm.
Retirement and aging. The
Mm.
moment you finish, मेरा degree हो गया खत्म हो गया अभी ना I'm
Correct.
not going to do anything now. Netflix and all that, travel and all. Okay, fine. But
Mm.
if you don't spend 15 minutes in learning something new every day,
Mm.
your brain is saying you're not using me, you're not challenging me.
Right.
Bye bye, I'm going. Of course, Harvard research also said the cognitive power
Mm.
is hippocampus
Mm.
in your brain,
Mm.
and that hippocampus starts shrinking as you
Shrinking.
age.
Mm.
And in the brain, it doesn't remember the events and everything. It
Right.
just remembers it as pattern.
Mm.
And those patterns are there, it will just combine and it will retrieve the
Right.
information that you have stored. Events in the form of, it will be either negative events could be there or very impacted positive events could be there.
Mm.
Okay, so the hippocampus starts becoming smaller and smaller because of that oxidative stress, and amyloid plaque starts depositing on it.
Mm.
Not because of good sleep, good nutrition,
Mm.
stress, anxiety, depression, trauma, grief, doubt,
Mm.
past, present, future, thinking about all these
Yeah.
things. That leaves behind the oxidative stress. And you are in that thought, emotions, juggling, सोच सोच
Mm.
के सोच सोच के you are just spiraling your thoughts, and
Right.
that's the reason you get heart का भी, blood pressure, thyroid,
Mm.
or brain related issues, brain fog, mental
Right.
fatigue, forgetfulness, all these, and then
Mm.
you just start putting on weight, and you will go again
Wow.
in depression. Weight, obesity is the cause for depression, mental, psychiatric illnesses.
Mm.
So all these awareness, whatever I know, I studied, implemented, I'm trying to
Right.
give it to
Wow.
all the women.
Wow.
Now many people asked me,
Huh.
why are you only taking women?
Mhm.
Men also needs, yeah, they also forget.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, pehle first women. And then next year I will think about because adding men
True.
also.
True. True. That's really powerful. So, like typically when, especially when, this is just an intuitive sense that I have, but like typically by now, have you reached a point where you have sort of like, like with doctors, you have a protocol, right? Or in the typically in the medical fraternity, when you're working on something, you eventually arrive at a protocol saying that if you follow this, this, and this, you will see a incremental, a benefit, let's say, over a period of time, right? So when you talk about specifically in your area of focus, right? Is that, have you reached a point where you're saying, yeah, I have, like, let's say, a cognitive fitness protocol? Is there something like this that can help people? A simple way of saying it is, do you have maybe like 3 hacks that somebody can use or follow, which can at least, even if it doesn't completely dispel the brain fog, but it'll at least give them some kind of hope? And having said that, of course, that's why I'd also asked you to share, your details. I know you do a masterclass. You also have, your link tree, so people can reach out to you. So those details will also be there in especially our YouTube channel. But is there something that in your mind you say, yeah, okay, so Rahul, like these three things, if somebody does, especially women of a certain age group, they will benefit from it. So is there something like that that you have?
Yeah, yes, yes. There is, like, I give an analogy of the car only.
Mm,
The car ka engine
mm,
is like a brain. Your
mm,
hopes, your aspiration, your desire, your dream, your thoughts, your emotion, everything comes from the brain
mm,
as a pattern, of course.
mm,
And like the car has four wheels,
mm,
you will have a physical, biological wheel. That's
mm,
one area.
mm, mm,
Second one is psychological,
mm,
or second one. Third one
mm,
is your social,
mm,
third wheel. And the
mm,
fourth one is your spiritual.
mm. Nice.
So physically you are fit,
Mm,
but psychologically you are,
right.
polluted. Or rather,
Mm,
you are telling, hey, you are like this, negative thoughts,
mm,
you are into depression, but physically you are
right.
fit. That wheel.
Mm,
So all these four wheels have to have same amount of air, same
right.
amount of, that strength, so that the
Mm,
car can go on a highway like a. So now one of the wheels is strong, other is not.
mm,
So how do you balance between the physical,
right.
biological, to the psychological, to the
Psychological. Mm,
connection, social, and
mm.
then the spiritual purpose
Nice.
and other things.
Nice.
So there are four different aspects by which you need to take care. Now I'll tell you
Mm,
physical.
mm,
Physically, the brain, actually, it's a very expensive organ. It
mm,
takes 20% of the calories.
right.
It takes 20% of oxygenated nutrients, fuel, and fertilizers from. That's what it wants.
Mm,
Remaining body, entire body, remaining 80%. It is such a cute, only a little. I want a prototype. I'll show you. The brain
mm,
looks like this.
mm.
2% of your weight.
Wow.
80% it has got liquid, and it has got 60% fat.
Wow.
Okay.
Mm,
And it's most expensive. It generates 23 watts of electricity. We have
mm.
electro-hydrochemical factory.
Yeah.
One thought comes, no, it gives some chemical is released,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that chemical, depending upon that, you start your
True.
psychology changes your physiology. They say no.
Yeah. True.
So psychologically, you should be there. Then, who is your
Mm,
support system?
mm,
Who are your how intimate relationship you are having to with your closed ones, with your friends, with your
mm,
networking.
mm,
And then comes, what am I doing? What's my purpose? What's my passion? What am I supposed to do? All this spiritual angle, connecting to God or something.
mm.
So
Beautiful. Yeah.
those are the four circles I talk
That's
about,
a
and I tell them at least do one thing
mm,
in each of the thing every week.
right.
This month
Do
I will go to
one
Shri.
thing like an activity or something in each.
Yeah.
That's what you mean.
So now when I say physical, physical means
Mm,
first will come as what are the what do you take? What do you actually what how you are is what you eat.
right.
ओके उसमें
Mm,
केरोसिन डाल के गाड़ी चला रहे
mm,
हो कि हाई फ्यूल पेट्रोल डाल के गाड़ी चला रहे हो
mm,
सो दोज न्यूट्रिएंट्स एंड द ब्रेन इज
nice.
स्पेशल है वो ऊपर बैठा हुआ है
Mm,
इट वांट समथिंग एल्स आई वांट ओमेगा 3
mm,
I want this, then only I'm going to function properly.
right.
So उसको उसका demand पूरा करो. Then there is something called as neurobics, which is aerobics
Mm,
of neurons.
mm,
Means you are doing aerobics for the physical fitness, but here
mm,
you have to do neurobics for the brain fitness, for the
right.
neurons.
Mm,
Like for example, I'm brushing my teeth with my right dominating
right.
hand,
Mm,
which is dominate. Now I'll
mm,
start doing it with left.
left. Mm,
And while doing my left, I will also raise my right leg and dance, do little bit of
mm,
dancing, so that I'm doing something
right.
coordination. You
Mm,
know,
mm,
that's one of the ways. I will close my eyes and enter in the room. I'll close my eyes while showering. I will enter the
right.
dark room and try to identify some of the things.
Mm,
Write with the left hand. Write mirror image I mean, if it is KSHAMA, I'll write it as AMAHSK. That would
mm,
be Kshama.
mm,
So ulta. All these type of things. So water, spell it as WAT.
mm,
Ulta. Then remember, when did I get this particular thing? When did I keep it here? When did I buy this?
mm.
Try to recollect all those
Wow.
things. Close your eyes, draw a heart. वो heart touch होना चाहिए, and especially with the left hand.
Mm.
Close your eyes and write cognitive fitness from your such
Nice.
kind of aerobics. Then
Nice.
comes neuro meditation.
Mm,
Then I take neuro meditation has to be done. Neuro meditation is basically all related to all neurons, your
mm,
ears, then
mm.
heart, up to your
Right.
gut. Gut is second brain.
Mm.
Gut is called as a second brain.
Correct.
So those kind of exercise. Then you
Nice.
sleep. What is
Mm,
sleep apnea, sleep disorder, all these
mm,
things. So, Rahul, if I tell you now, only neuronutrition could be one of the topics which people will be teaching. Brain food. That
mm.
itself could be. But I have combined so many things because I did all of this,
Yeah.
and now only people are saying, no, neuro meditation ka hi sirf le lo class.
Right.
Neuro nutrition ka hi le lo.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot. I mean, just listening to you, Shama, it's just so much. One, that you've spent time studying it, so you have your personal, connection to it. And two, the brain, and what is the brain, how does the brain work, and so much more. There's like,
Yeah.
these are like
I got this model also kept it here, showing everyone this.
oh, nice.
And also, it's a very complicated, and I mean,
Mm,
but it's interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
Inside also, I have written it like this.
Mm,
What are the
nice.
things, what it
Mm,
does. Of
mm,
course, they're not interested, but I tell them
yeah.
this is what is important, and give them the analogy like this. This is brain, like this.
Nice.
Teach them what they can.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. True. So, firstly, thank you for sharing your wisdom, especially in this context, because it, this is what I believe as well. Like the more people know, the more it will kind of shift their thinking. It's like literally the immersion, right? So if someone is having problems, instead of just giving them sometimes little bits, sometimes giving them a little bit more, like creating that immersion can make them kind of say, okay, maybe I can change. So it's like,
Yes, you
one of the
can.
things that I want to also ask you, because like I said, you've shared some really, really powerful and very practical applications, right?
Hmm.
Things that people can do. Another thing, and since you talked about social being one of the wheels of the one of
Hmm.
the wheels of the car, right?
Hmm.
Um, I'd love to hear from you your perspective on community. What
Hmm.
has your experience been? Of course, as a coach as well, like when you're setting up your community, when you're um, inviting more people to join
Hmm.
in your way of thinking and experiencing those shifts. What are some of your takeaways from building community, from being in community?
Yeah. So community man is a social animal. He wants
Mm,
community. He wants people around. Even in some of the classes, if there are less to number of
mm,
students, you feel terribly bad. Why these are not coming? What happened to them?
mm,
It's all uh, when there is a community, there is give
mm,
and take. Like
right.
I have a diamond members
Mm, nice.
this thing also. I have 8 diamond students, and
Nice.
in Jan 2024 I started. I
Mm,
mean, actually, I was taking a special class on how to identify different dragons inside you.
mm,
Actually, I was thinking about I'll give you one tip of brain every day, 21 days, you take this. How
mm,
many of you are interested? 11
mm,
people joined.
nice.
And then in that, I said, let's learn everything about brain lifelong. How many of you
Mm,
are interested? Then 8 people joined. So their classes I was taking about how to handle
mm,
dragons,
mm,
identify dragons.
mm,
Some people feel your hopelessness, helplessness, all these people. So when we took all these things, I helped them to assess their brain type also. because there
Mm.
are different type of brain types.
Right.
A balanced brain, cautious, persistent, sensitive, and emotional.
Mm.
So which kind you have? Balanced are only 20% in the entire globe. So
Wow.
when I did all these things, the
Mm.
community started coming together. And
Mm.
now, literally एक को किस गिर गया तो हाय ज्योति गिर गई तुझे
Wow.
भगवान से प्रार्थना इतना कनेक्शन इतना इमोशनल इतना
Mm.
प्यार जताते वो लोग. I mean, that's amazing to see.
Mm.
And as I told you, even relationships in your house also. Sometimes you unintentionally, without
Mm.
you just say something in a different tone, different pitch, different language, different everything. Actually, you don't mean that.
Mm.
So the moment I start now, come on, stop it, stop it, stop it, lower your voice. So now this
Nice.
is coming. So I used to
Mm.
initially fight for half. Fight is argumentative or
Mm.
debating for half an
Mm.
hour. Now
Mm.
I rest my case in 5 minutes because इसको बता के कोई फायदा ही नहीं. उसका
Right.
ब्रेन टाइप मेरा ब्रेन टाइप से अलग है.
Mm.
So these are all things, if I want to get connected to Rahul, now I know that his brain type and my brain type and my wavelength absolutely in coordination with each other.
Mm.
Otherwise, I won't talk to people who
Correct.
are.
Correct.
This
True.
helps in tribe building. Everybody is not
Mm.
my member. Sometimes
Yep.
I feel bad. Read, there were
Mm.
80 people, only 8 bought.
Mm.
Cha, cha, cha. Not good. No, this is meant for everybody. I am doing so. Right. But I feel these are the 8 people
Mm.
who get connected to
Yeah.
me, and I want those people only.
Yep. Very true.
And they are free to call. That's what one of the student
Mm.
has told, that you are not like a coaching class, SNA. You are
Ah.
like family. You are just
Right.
helping.
Correct.
So community building is very important.
Mm.
कभी कभी
Mm.
some people are not matching to our this thing. They create
Mm.
trouble, but it's okay. It's
Mm.
part and partial.
So, so if you can share this, Shama, in your experience, um, like you said, and you do webinars, you do master classes, correct? So,
Yeah.
and I'm saying this also because there are people out there that are, in that process of being able to um, really figure out their message, and they show up. They maybe do one a week, maybe they do sometimes twice a week, sometimes just once a month, but people are doing this, right? um, can you share, like, since you're talking about cognition, it's like, what have you found that helps you deal with the 80 were there, only 8 bought, that sort of, like, dealing with that, like, from a mindset point of view, from a cognitive uh, approach, like, what do you do, what have you found that's useful to be able to manage that?
There are three reasons.
Mm,
When you take any decision, many
mm,
times, चलो वो भी कर रहा है मैं भी कर लेती हूँ.
right.
This is one
Mm,
inspirational. He is doing it. I'll
mm,
also do it. Yeah.
mm,
He bought it. I bought it. He
mm,
took. I took.
mm,
That is first.
mm,
Second is your limbic system, emotional.
mm,
You decide from your limbic system emotionally. Oh
mm,
my God. Second.
mm,
The third one is your intelligence.
mm,
You are saying, like for example, I want to gym join karna hai. She's
mm,
going, no, she's there, boy. She will take her car. I'll go with her. So
mm,
that's emotional or it's inspirational, whatever you call it.
mm,
That is one. Then
mm,
second, I'll say, no, gym jana jaruri hai. Prefrontal cortex, like that is intelligent brain.
mm,
Gym jana jaruri hai because I'll put on weight. If I put on weight, then my health, my BP will go high,
mm,
my obesity will go high. Then my brain will become small because the more you are
mm,
fat, the brain is small. If the more you are thinner, the brain is fat. And fattier brain is supposed to be the best brain.
mm, mhm, mm,
So that is second. Third is absolutely it has gone from your prefrontal cortex and trained, and now I will go to the gym every day. And if I miss it, I have missed something in my life.
mm,
So these are the three conditions they bite. Especially when you are giving webinar, you are just trying that judging
mm,
and looking at you for the first time.
correct.
How much they are looking at you don't know because their camera is most of the time off.
Right.
Some two, three, five people will
Correct.
switch on like because it's a free. I
Mm,
can't demand. When
right.
I'm teaching as a camera on karo, nahi to I am going to switch off my camera many times. I have switched off my camera and
Mm,
taught. I said, is it good? No. When you want to see me, I also want to see you. So,
mm,
but camera is off, so you don't know.
mm,
So, and Simon Sinek's
mm,
curve says, diffusion curve
mm,
says, like when Apple introduces, pre-launches this thing,
mm,
2% of the people will immediately put an order.
mm.
Remaining 10% of the people will buy it after the launch.
Right.
And when 12% goes up, that diffusion curve goes up,
Oh.
early bird offer will come. And then the later. This is a curve.
Mm,
10 to 15% of the people only are convinced with you. Rest all are
mm,
not connected to you, or not convinced, or they will again
mm.
repeatedly come for your webinar 3,
Correct.
4, 5, and then they'll buy.
Yeah. Ah.
That is what it
Mm.
is. You can't expect all 80 to be agreeing
Correct.
with what. Because
Mm.
they said, ye chal free hai, kuch to cognitive what. I'll explore my knowledge and let's see
Yeah.
what she's going to tell.
Right.
Many people are like that.
Mm. Nice. Well, that's really beautiful to hear you frame it like this, because I'm sure for people who watch this later, uh, it's like saying ki there is hope, right? Because
Of
a lot of
course, you are
times,
not stuck with bad brain. You are not stuck with bad brain. You
exactly.
can change the brain anytime, provided you take those 11
Mm,
risk factors which I
mm,
generally talk about.
mm, mm.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
beautiful.
at any age.
Mm. So, more on a personal note, I'm very curious to know, uh, over the years, especially, when you talk about, say, hypnosis, you talk about neuro linguistic programming. What have some of your experiences been, and you know, where do you sort of like, how do you connect to these two?
No, hypnosis definitely works
Mm,
for training yourself.
mm,
And in all the walks of life, hypnosis works.
mm,
You don't know, unknowingly, you're
mm.
doing hypnosis to yourself and
Yep.
telling something. So, is it called as hypnosis? Of course, it's called as hypnosis.
Mm,
So when you think about something, it's a hypnosis. Hypnosis definitely in the brain
mm,
also. You are trying to program it in such a way that
mm.
that programming has to be implemented, and it starts functioning like that.
Right.
Hypnosis has got that is so much powerful.
Mm,
All the neuroscientists, psychiatrists
mm,
talk about hypnosis as one of the
mm,
best tool to change yourself, and
mm.
especially self hypnosis.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
that is one thing. And
Mm,
NLP also, neuro linguistic program is also,
mm.
all these they go parallelly to each
Yeah.
other. They are all
Yeah.
allied branches of
Yeah.
each.
Yeah.
They also talk like this, so
Mm,
they're not separate. But
mm.
me being an science and precision
Yeah.
based, I
Yeah.
talk about, this is the prescription
Mm,
for your physical, this is the
yeah.
prescription for your social, this is the
Mm,
prescription for your mental, and this is
mm.
the prescription for your spiritual.
Yeah.
इसमें से I will tell you five things. I don't
Mm,
tell how to do hypnosis. I tell them do
mm.
hypnosis. अच्छा एक ट्राई करेंगे आ जाओ क्लास में.
Mm.
Something will do.
Beautiful.
And then I'll tell them you eat 1 2 3 4 5 things. अच्छा आज
Mm.
कौन सा क्या खा रहे हो बताओ लिखो
Right.
उधर. आज
Nice.
क्या खा रहे हो? नहीं मेरे घर में टर्मरिक है मैं टर्मरिक का गोला बना के खाती हूँ. चलो ठीक है. आज पानी पी लेती हूँ. ओके फाइन.
Right.
So I इतना ही बस. I
Mm.
can't go more on this because I take only one
Correct.
month challenge, and I'm
Mm.
doing just L1 only, and this diamond only pilot this thing is going on. That's all.
Right.
That's personal.
Awesome. Awesome. It's been such a joy talking with you.
Even me, I love talking.
And like I said, picture to abhi baki hai. Um, there are some ideas that are forming in my head of doing a slightly different version of a podcast. Ek to is this format where it's an opportunity for people to see. For me, I believe this is one of my superpowers, to be able to find really, really amazing people, right? And for me, it's like it just takes an instant to know, like you are one of my special people, right? And I still remember you. I don't know if you remember this. We met in the hotel lobby, and then we got talking, and then of course we were there at
I was
the
behind you. You're going to airport, right?
So when the retreat wrapped up and we were headed out, we were literally meant to travel together.
Yes,
And I truly, I mean, I'm still sort of like formulating it, but the intention is that, for people like us, to be able to sort of decipher what, because there's a lot that we've studied, there's a lot that we've drawn on from different resources. So to be able to bring that in such a way that people can access more of it,
yes.
right?
This is what
That
is required.
honestly, that is the first step, that like we talk about in, I think it was a 60s, I remember in my journalism class we learned it, like, again, many years ago, that when you talk about communication model, right, the first step is awareness. So my intention is to make this, like what to make that aware to more people. So we will definitely be having more conversations on
Yes,
this.
sure, sure.
And I want to take this moment again and thank you so much,
Thank you, Rahul.
Shama,
Thank
for
you so
making
much.
the time. And
Fully
it's been a
honored.
absolute joy.
Yes,
And as I said, picture to abhi baki hai, so more
correct,
to
correct.
come. Yeah.
We'll do it. I
So
know. I
so in a
love it.
mo
Talking is not an issue. Teaching is not an issue. Research
yes,
is so
yes,
that's my
yes.
passion only. So we'll
Uh,
talk
uh,
on each and every one small topics
exactly.
and what people really
Yeah,
need.
yeah.
So,
I must say this, it came to me at the beginning of the pod, and this is like the perfect time to bring this up. Like, just listening to you, the way you talked about being a teacher, I was actually reminded of my mom. Like, she's taught for like decades and decades. And again, it's like, I'm sure in your own experience also, as a student, you'll probably remember one or two teachers from your school days, right? Like people who really leave that, and not in a negative way, but like, a teacher that you really look up to. And
yeah.
I know I've been extremely blessed to, not only that, my mom um, was my teacher, but it's like in the context of life, but um, she's been that kind of a teacher to her students. So
Mm,
when hearing you say this about, like, 40, close to 40 years you've been teaching, and uh, it's really amazing to just hear how you have continued that process. It's not ki acha theek hai, you know done with now, I'm just going to, as you said, retire and just Netflix. It's like, no, it's like there's so much more. So I will definitely do everything in my part to be able to, reach out to you, of course, and draw from, the resources that you have, so that more people can benefit from this. And as you said, brain cognition, brain hai to sab hai, good
yeah.
brain hai to even better, right?
Yes. Uh,
Nice.
yeah.
So, thank you once again, Dr. Shama, for being on
Thank
the
you
show.
so
Thank you, Shama,
much.
for being my guest, and really sharing so much, and more to come.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you. Bye
such a
bye.
pleasure.
See you.
So, I will just for a moment go ahead and pause the recordings in a moment here.